Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna work Lake Superior. Now, there's great gold to be had if you find the right spot. And the last time we were here, we did just that. We walked all up and down this beach, probably over 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles, looking for the best gold we could, just prospecting. Well, we came back. Things have changed just a little bit. A lot of the shoreline has crashed down and covered up some of those deposits, but as you can see, some of them are still accessible. There's big rig bone. We brought reinforcements with today. I got my Mrs. Wizards here and Junior Miss Wizard. I got both the Wizard team hounds here, Rigby and Moose. So we're gonna see if we can't put a little bit of gold in the pan today. I brought some equipment. Let's take a look at it. Back in a bit. Here's our equipment we brought with today. Now I brought my little mini high banker here. It fits right in my backpack. Just as fine as rain. It's a little bit windy out here, so I'll try to block the wind. Now the mat I've got in here, that's a Devon Gold VDR mat right there, but it's a mini, so to speak. It's got quite a bit smaller profile of drop riffles and vortexes, and I also have some high-low V mat I made out of silicone from Alan Roberts and some molds I got from him. And that stuff works fantastic. Now typically I'll be running my gold cube down here, but the truck is way that way through the woods on a trail, way down there and down. And I knew we were gonna have quite a hike going through the woods today, so we brought as little equipment as we could, but I still think we're gonna get 90% of the gold running a system like this. And I just brought a small tub and we'll be just fine. So the next thing in order is to look for some deposits. Now I went ahead and I dug a hole right here by the moose dog, and it looks like the old beach is down in here. As you can see, there's some gravels mixed in with this stuff. That's not exactly the deposit type that I found last time I was here, but I did take a walk up the beach and I found that that deposit. I just didn't want to zigzag all the equipment and girls and dogs all the way up and then all the way down. So I'll just grab a couple pails from down there and I'll give this stuff a test too. And I did grab a test pan right here, and we're going to test that and see if there's any gold in it. So that's all we got to do now is get our equipment running and get to work. Nice day out. Back in a bit. And here's our first test pan. Now this is from the material down the beach a little bit, and there are some colors in here. I think there's 4 or 5 of them or so, and they're quite small. This one might be just a little bit bigger, but that wasn't much of a test pan, and I had quite a bit of blonde sand in there with that stuff, but that's still a pretty good showing for the small amount of material I had. Look at how clear that water is. Ooh, wait, I think the girls are going to find some agates around here for sure. They're way down there. So I think the next thing I want to do, oh, I'm grabbing that one right there. Look at that. Ooh, is that handsome. Yeah, that's going in the rock garden there. But anyway, now I know there's gold up there. I want to take a sample right out of in there where that gravel deposits up in the bank up in there, and see if we can't find a little something in there. Let's take a look. All right, now that I believe I found a deposit worth working, I want to set up my sluice here to get maximum efficiency for this heavy black sand, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now this stuff here isn't pure black sand by any means. It's a light mix, and I will find the heavier concentrations of black sand, but for right now, I did some test pans and there is some gold in this stuff, but I want to get my sluice dialed in. So I've been putting small scoops in here, like such. And again, it is a lot of blonde sand in there. Now see how long that blonde sand takes to clear off of there? I've got this mat set at 10 degrees. And that might be just a little bit light. I think I want to drop that down to about 12 because it's taking a little bit too long for that blonde sand to clear out of there. What we want to do is have a nice exchange with the black sand and the gold. And even up in here, you can see it's still holding on to some of that blonde sand. And we definitely want to catch only black sand and then find that magic number between water flow and pitch to get the black sand to slowly exchange to hold on to the gold, because the gold is just a little bit heavier. So we're going to drop this down to about 12 degrees quick, and then I'm going to have one of the team members over there. There they are. do a little shoveling onto the sluice here, and I'm going to locate the best black sand I can. Some of this deposit has changed. A lot of the bank washed down and over it, and there might have been a storm. I see a lot of blonde sand pushed up on top of it. So one way or the other, we'll get this baby dialed in. Look at how red that's turning. See how it's holding on to the next latest thing, the blonde sands, then the garnet sands, and then the black sands are up on top here in the crash box, so to speak. So we're real close. I think another 2 degrees and we'll be right in the money. Back in a bit. All right, Miss Wizard gave me a hand here, and she held my phone bubble level app on here. It's a rigid level bubble or whatever app. You know, it's not going to be exactly precise, but if you're at a certain number, you just tilt it down a couple of numbers, and then whatever you wind up with, you know that you went down 2 degrees. And since I've done that, that garnet sand has really started swirling around in there. So that's a good sign. It's creeping over the edges, and that's the next heaviest thing next to the black sand. So I think we're in business, and there's no more blonde sands up in this area. So now all we got to do is find some gold. And another good thing is if I find gold in any of this area and all these cobbles, having a high banker here is really going to pay off. I don't have to do any classifying. I can just grab a scoop right out of this stuff like that. Throw it on there. There she goes. We'll take a little look down in there. And all that material is really dancing around in there nicely. Here too, it's not just washing right out instantaneously, which is what you don't want, but it's not taking its time either. So I think we're going to be in the money here. Let me get some black sand moving. Well, I'll tell you a little lesson about prospecting. If you're not on the gold, you move. And I think we're going to move, because I tested dozens of spots, and that's deposit that used to be here, and it's just not here. I went way down there 1/4 of a mile, and I tested all the way back here, and I'm not going all the way back up that hill again and through the woods with my gear. My truck is way down that way. So we're going to load up our gear, and we're going to move down the beach that way. And it's just a matter of throwing that thing in my backpack, getting the ladies all riled up. Here's Mrs. Wizard getting some cool rock garden rocks. Look at those. Yeah. She said she's going to be a little more selective today.
It's a long walk.
That's for sure. So we're going to pack up our gear. We're going to get the heck out of here and go down there. We only have a limited amount of time. That's what it's all about, getting on the gold. Back in a bit. Video update. We walked 200 miles from that way. I'm pulling this here wagon. I decided to bring that instead of my game cart. I don't know if it's a toss-up or not, but anyway, we found what we're looking for. The last time I was at this location, this was a great big pond right here, and there was a few black sand deposits here or there, and my Val noticed this one right off the bat. So I came and took about a cup right out of that hole right there. It's a nice little black sand deposit. I can kind of show you here. It's, I don't know, 3-4 inches thick. And I did a test pan, and I'll show it to you. Hey, Gator. Right here. This is what we're looking for. Right here. There is a number of really nice pieces in that pan. Those are bigger pieces for the beach too. And there's a number of really super duper small ones in there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I personally do not know of a spot where I can get that many pieces of gold in 1 cup of material. Even my best spot at any creek doesn't have that good of gold. So I got all my gear in my backpack. We're gonna get set up. We're gonna run that whole pile. Back in a bit. We are up and running. That's right. Got some sand here. Feed it in there kind of slow. You can kind of see it clearing out of there a little slow. I'm going to run a full 5-gallon pail through this thing just to make sure it's holding on to what I want. And every once in a while I'm going to do another little test pan, but there's more than enough black sand here that I'll be able to run in a day. Hopefully I can get, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 pails or so run. We're gonna have something to see, that's for sure. Look how beautiful it is out here. Man, oh man. Back in a bit. Now it's important to note that just because you can get all your black sand to clear off of there, that you don't have, you know, you still have to wait for your mat to do its thing. Now you can see those drop ripples down there. They're full of black sand right now, but they're slowly starting to empty out about halfway. You can kind of see that now. That's what you want. The gold is going to fall down in there briefly and get sucked back this way and rest on that side of those drop ripples down in there. So you never want to overload your mats. So, you know, even though you think you're running 20 pails in a day, well, you're losing a lot of your gold because it's just going to float right over solid black sand. So it's important to note that you want to figure out how your mats work and then run them accordingly. That's a long haul and a lot of work to get out here just to let gold go at the end of my sluice. Back in a bit. Well, Rigby did it again. He put us on the gold big time. I just did another test pan. Look at that big old piece right there. There's all kinds of pieces in there. That was about a half a cup or so. It just takes too long to pan through this stuff. It seems to be getting better. Oh my goodness. I'll show you what I mean. Now I dug down right here until I got down to blonde sands and gravels. And there's still 5, 6, 7 little pieces of gold and that stuff there. And then I slid up just a little bit right on the edge here where it turns from brown sand to black sand right there. Now I'm sure there's some black sand mixed in with that stuff, but this stuff here is quite different in color compared to some of the sand down here. It's like blue, almost like a blue black sand. And that's where I'm getting the biggest pieces of gold, is on this top layer right up high right here. You can see that, the difference in the sand color right there to say down in here a little bit. This is really, really good stuff right here, and it's probably 3 inches thick. This stuff is just absolutely loaded with gold. We'll go ahead and throw a little bit of that in there. I threw a little bit of jet dry in my water, and that, you know, it's up so high and it's splashing in there. That's why it's making suds, but there's only a few drops. That's nothing. So we are doing absolutely great. I'm going to run one more of these. I'm going to do a little look-see on my mat. Make sure we're catching all the gold because we're on it for sure. And if not, I'll have to adjust the height, pitch, etc. But one way or the other, we're right where we want to be. Back in a bit. All right, we've got 3 gallons run. Now, I know this takes a long time because this black sand takes forever to pan. And I wound up with, I don't know, probably 3/4 of a cup of material, the heaviest of the heavy. But it's important to do it. So we're going to go ahead and pan this one down. And just to make sure we're capturing all the gold that we're feeding into it. Let's see what we got. And here's our concentrates right here. Now I've already panned off some of the lighter blonde sands. It's one less thing you got to fight through, and it's relatively easy. But I can already tell just by fanning this back a couple of times that the gold is scattered in and amongst this stuff. And it's still pretty thick, but it's showing all over the place inside of here. So I've got really good feelings about this stuff. When I'm pulling that water back, I can see those pieces of gold showing up, and then they kind of sink. Like there's one right up in there showing up, and I can see 5 or 6 every time I do that. So let me take a quick 10 minutes or so and pan this back, and we'll take a look at it. And voila! That's what 3 gallons of black sand will get you for gold on a good spot. Take a look at that. That's lots. I'm really happy with the amount of pieces it's catching, and I'm happy with the size. There's a great mix of real nice small stuff, and there's some nice big flat ones in there too. This stuff's like tin foil, but that is really, really good in my opinion. Now I guarantee we are losing gold, especially in that short of a sluice right there. But the mats in particular, I think, are doing exactly what I wanted. Now when I pulled this mat out of here, I did it real slow. This is my top, and here's the bottom. I did it real slow so I could get a good look at each and every one of these drop riffles and this stuff here. And I didn't see anything in this black stuff. It had a little bit of the silicone mat. It had a bunch of sand on it, but I'm sure it caught gold. But in these here, right about in the middle, once I peeled it open like this here, I stretched it open, you could see the gold concentrated in the material up in those drop riffles right there. And this is my first run on the beach with this particular mat here. I get that from Infinity Prospecting. It's gold cube matting, but I cut it down for my little high banker here, and it works really well. So now all we got to do is quit jack jawing and get working. He's over there. He's getting ready to get hollering at me. All right, let's get at it. It's right there. Back in a bit. Now, before I get going too hot and heavy, I want to show you a little something I did to this unit. I just made a little piece of bent metal right here, and it slides down in there, and I'll show you. See down in there in the crash box, it does a lot of churning around in there, and it makes a lot of bubbles, and it kind of gathers a whole lot of material in there. So I took this and it slides right in there just like that, and that way the water bounces right off of that and it's coming down flat rather than having a great big whirlpool back in there, a big dead zone. So if you ever have the opportunity to get yourself one of these here, that might not be a bad idea. Time for a cleanup. Got the unit shut down. And I've got that clean out in this here pan. It's still a little bit dirty, but I just wanted to show you the gold showing up as I'm pulling some of this sand back. Just look at the amount of colors showing up in this pan. That is insane, insane. Now I can't really see it on my camera, but I can see it in person. There's just thousands and thousands of them showing up here. Crazy, crazy stuff. I hope you guys can see that. Maybe I'll try it in a shadow here one time. Let's try that once. But it is crazy. And that stuff is thick, thick, thick black sand. This is way better than, well, I don't know if it's way better than the other one. I ran more material this time, but my water is getting quite dirty, so I want to swap that out. But this stuff is absolutely just jam-packed with gold. Jam-packed, and nice pieces too. Look at that starting to show up on that top edge right there. All this sand underneath that is just packed. Packed. That is awesome. He's gone. Oh, Rick Moose there, he went and found himself a nice little hiding spot in the shade. He was gone for a little while. We couldn't find him. He's over here. He's the smart one, digging a little hole over there. Maybe I got a new gold hound. Yeah, we got an audience today. Got a couple guys out there fishing. I haven't seen them reel anything in yet, but it sure is a nice day for it. No waves, hardly at all. Nice and warm out here. Well, good luck, guys. Snack time. What you got there, Rigbone? Oh, that looks tasty. Well, not really. It's no beef stick. Well, Rigby's hard at work. And we're still running, getting awesome gold. And just out of curiosity, I wanted to see how far this deposit ranged from, here that way. So I scooped an awful lot of sand that keeps falling down the bank here as I try to shovel it over here, and I got a big pile right here, but look at down in there. This deposit goes straight that way, all the way to the big wall here. And I just did a test pan out of that stuff. And there was probably 10 pieces in this stuff here. Maybe a big handful, 10, 12 pieces, whatever. I just kind of did it fast and I didn't save them. I'm just counting. So I just grab that stuff and I throw it right on there, just like that. So we are on the money. Rigby's bored. Well, we'll be clearing out here pretty quick. They're ready to roll. It's getting hot. That thing up there, that's hot. So let's keep running. We'll get the heck out of here. Back in a bit. All right, they've had enough. I'm gonna say uncle. Got our unit shut down there. Here's our last clean out right here. And I just started pulling it back just to kind of get a glimpse of if we could see anything good. Look at those size of those pieces right there. That one right there in particular. Those are some really nice pieces. And I just now started pulling, kind of raking this back. And look at the gold showing up in there. Holy smokeroonies. Oh, we crushed it today. Just crushed it. I might run this stuff over my miller table. We'll see. I got my Devon Gold cleanup sluice, which does work great, but I like using all my tools. Maybe I'll break it up in half. But this stuff is absolutely loaded with gold. It's going to be something spectacular. So I'm going to get that in my little concentrate container there. We're going to get the heck out of here. Hey, ladies. I'm starting to get sunburned horrible too. Here comes our fishermen back for another round. I think they're fishing for brown trout. I don't know. Well, we got to get all our gear up that hill and we get this stuff home and clean it up. Come on, Rigby, get moving here. Big dummy. Oh, smokes. That's heavy. It's full of rocks. We made it. Oh my God. We are back at the shop. Now I took a minute and I got my little miller table, so to speak, my little royal table up and running. And I got my super duper concentrate here. Now I did do some panning out there just to get a lot of the lighter stuff off. There's still a little bit in there, but there's really good gold in there. And it's been a long time since I've had a ice cold refreshment. Know what I mean? So we're gonna crack one of these babies open. If I can. There we are. Bear with me now. All right. Now grab a small sample of this stuff here. Hopefully we're running all right. Whoops. There we are. Looks like we're running a little bit slow, but there is gold showing up. Looks like quite a bit of it. There's a nice chunk right there. That's a chunky chunk right there. Very cool. I think I might have to turn this thing up just a hair. I'm going to watch it for a minute and see what it does. And we'll pick it back up and we have something golden to look at. All right, time out, time out. I'm getting down to the bottom and things are really getting serious here. This piece just came out of that stuff right there and it was flittering down the pan and I grabbed it quick with my finger and drug it off the bottom and I picked it right up. I just got a picker at the beach. That is crazy. Look at the gold still coming out of that stuff. Nice big pieces too. I've never seen gold like that on that beach anywhere, anytime. That is insane. We're a little over half done, I would think, and we got a whole bunch of gold in that snuffer right there. I've been snuffing them up as I go, making a little pile up in one corner. Things are looking really good. All right, we're done. There's my empty container. Wait till you see this. Nope, not that. This. Look at the gold we got today. Look at that. There's that picker right there. Now it's not really a picker. I can feel it, but I can't pick it up in the pan. What I had to do was I grabbed it here and I slid it off of there and I picked it up in my fingers because it was gonna go pushing off of there. So I called it a picker. So technically it's a poker. I can poke it around and move it around. But look at the number of pieces we got and how micro fine some of that stuff is. That's probably minus 400 mesh gold in there. And we got a number of really awesome pieces, bigger than that. I couldn't be happier. I mean, we only ran for about 5 hours in that really good spot there. And you know, with that small high banker, we couldn't really push a ton of material, but we did fantastic. I had an awesome time. I want to thank my wife and daughter for coming along today. They made life great. What a day. What a day. Wow, what a day. We found some awesome gold. We got a whole pile of awesome rocks for Mrs. Wizard's rock garden. And we couldn't ask for a better day. Great weather, no bugs whatsoever. The wind wasn't too bad, just enough to keep the heat off you until you got in the woods hauling that wagon. But anyway, we got some awesome gold. And thank you guys again for watching. And until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. It helps build my channel. Flourgoldwizards out.